Planet of the Fakes Hollywood, and Pig Star. H. News. Opinion: What Killed Michael Brown? A controversial movie about truth and lies. Throughout history we find deceptions that have lulled us into thinking they were true. All that is required is a Pied Piper with a fanciful narrative and gullible listeners. Here are several deceptions over the past century. The Soviet Potemkin villages were constructed in the early 1930s to put a false face on the famine of Ukrainians. The New York Times reporter, Walter Duranty, won a Pulitzer Prize for buying into the Soviet deception. The New York Times offered an apology in 2003. The Nazis misled the International Red Cross in beautifying the Terezin concentration camp Theresienstadt ghetto in 1944. Once the Red Cross observers left this mirage, the Germans returned to deportations to Auschwitz, Majdanek, and Treblinka. Rigoberta Menchú, a quiche Guatemalan, won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1992 for advocating for the rights of the indigenous. When her facts about the conflicts she described proved to be significantly inaccurate, the Nobel Prize Committee, nevertheless, declined to void the prize. After all, she was a human rights activist waging the war for social justice. Those in her defense argued that the narrative of oppression was more important than the facts of oppression, and perhaps the most pernicious of all, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. This fabrication by Russian state police in the 1890s served as a catalyst for antisemitism. The London Times exposed the Protocols in 1921 as plagiarizing a French political satire, Dialogue in Hell between Machiavelli and Montesquieu. The original 1864 satire never mentioned Jews, but the Russian deception persuaded the gullible for many decades, joining a series of long-lived anti-Semitic tropes. And now, the movie What Killed Michael Brown explores a deception hypnotizing many who protest. This deception takes race relations in America in the wrong direction. That deception is hands up, don't shoot. The Washington Post gave it 4 Pinocchios in its fact-checking. We know that it is a deception because President Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder investigated the shooting of Michael Brown and declined to bring any civil rights charges against Darren Wilson, the police officer who shot Michael Brown. Michael Brown's death, though a tragedy, did not involve prosecutable conduct on the part of Officer Wilson. Credible witnesses and forensic analysis led to the conclusion that Brown was not shot in the back, that Brown charged at the officer, that Brown's DNA was on the officer's collar. Holder concurred with his office's decision as representing the sound, considered and independent judgment of the expert career prosecutors. The movie, What Killed Michael Brown, recounts the facts and the myths that surround Brown's death in Ferguson, Missouri, in August 2014. Shelby Steele, steeped in the history of social change for blacks in America, wrote and narrated the film. His son, Eli Steele, directed the movie. Shelby Steele explains how those who advocate for social justice, with hands up, don't shoot, seek a poetic truth, one that is not grounded in evidence, but a deception that demands us to conflate the present with past persecution. Those who wave the flag of poetic truth appear to be interested more in power rather than actually working on the community's social issues. Still, the fact is that many believe this deception. Poetic truth offers an attractive delusion. But instead of taking us into palpable change for blacks in America, it has, instead, deepened the divide on race relations and made it difficult to find a path to reforming current and past injustices. That's where Eli and Shelby Steele's powerful movie enters the discussion. Anyone who pretends to want to repair race relations in America, anyone who pretends to repair the world, anyone who wants justice needs to see this movie. Why this movie? The killing of a black man is not a new event. Shelby Steele himself filmed an earlier movie, 7 Days in Bensonhurst, about the murder of Yusuf Hawkins. Yusuf was ambushed and killed in 1989 by white youths. They were tried and went to jail, but is the killing of Michael Brown a repeat of Yusuf Hawkins? Or are we seeing something different? Do we rely on a persistent narrative of whites killing blacks, or do we need to look at the facts of each event? Do we need to explore the history and context of Michael Brown to find out what else is responsible for killing him? Thank you very much. Go to www.amher-